that, like, yeah.
Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of Remax Associated Realty. MyNextHomeFinder.com. Cindy Grossman. New York City born and raised, luxury retail management was her game. Saks Fifth Avenue and Nordstrom were her jewelry playgrounds. Had enough at 38, fled to Miami, where Neiman Marcus Bal Harbour found her. Recruited to Mont Blanc, where her regional position challenged her. Met her husband 4 years ago, and Brevard County she did go. COVID hit, she needed a new career fit. Age-defying beauty with Mary Kay, she did say. And now, here's Cindy Grossman.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Mesmerize the Mirror at Any Age. I'm happy to see Mitch, you're back with us.
Thanks for letting me come back.
My pleasure. And Jesse, as always, thank you for being here. Today we have a very special guest, and I'm quite honored to have her here. Angela Neal is the Senior Manager for the Military Spouse Economic Empowerment Zone, I guess better known as MSEEZ, with Hiring Our Heroes. Angela builds volunteer working groups across the United States with businesses, community partners, government, and non-for-profit organizations that focus on reducing military spouse and underemployment via the hire, train, and advocate pillars. As a military spouse, Angela has moved around the U.S. and overseas. We welcome her back for a second time to Brevard County, where she hopes to remain as long as the military allows. Over the past 2 decades, Angela has become familiar with her military lifestyle. Angela has always been career-driven and has become a networking expert with transferable skills to gain employment. Angela uses her experiences along with her like-minded military spouse experiences to give purpose and perspective to the work she does with Hiring Our Heroes. Angela is a graduate of the best class ever, Lead Brevard, in 2021. She's a member of Rockledge Rotary.
Yay.
Where she is chairing the Space Coast Derby Day. She's a member of the Space Coast Project Management Institute and Health First Young Professionals. Angela's background is business development and volunteer management. She has her MBA, and she holds the Project Management Professional Certification. Angela has brought her talents to Hiring Our Heroes with building out programs and initiatives. I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm honored to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
There's something else. I mean, of all that, Angela was recently honored by the Economic Development Commission in Brevard County as what was the honor, Angela?
It was Volunteer of the Year.
Volunteer.
Wow.
She's so modest, like nothing.
Wow.
But it's a great honor.
Absolutely.
And a great tribute to her and to everything she does.
That's wonderful. Wow. That's a great honor. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was greatly appreciated. Definitely not something you sought after or seek out, but it was appreciated.
Right. Yeah, well, I know I'm eager to learn all about your organization. Can you tell us what is Hiring Our Heroes?
So Hiring Our Heroes is the arm of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation that focuses on military family employment. So they strive to help military veterans, transitioning service members, military spouses, caregivers, Gold Star spouses gain meaningful employment. So often there's the opportunity to, sometimes it seems like scraps where you're getting jobs that are not equivalent with the skill set or education or experience. And so what we try to do is help pair positions that align with those skills and experience.
Okay. Sounds interesting. Now, how did you get involved?
I got involved with Hiring Our Heroes Well, it's funny because now I manage a program where we're bringing together businesses, and that's exactly how I started to work with Hiring Our Heroes. I was one of those community partners that worked on the outside with Hiring Our Heroes in Japan and loved the organization. And up until that point, I had always felt like I was kind of floundering as a military spouse and hadn't found that group of military spouses that were career-minded. But seeing this group and just so many amazing people, we had doctors and lawyers and just a very talented group of people that were all in the same boat, trying to find employment and trying to find meaningful employment. And it just felt like you have those moments where you're like, oh, these are my people. And so that's how I felt at that time, and just being able to support them with my efforts. And so coming back to Florida, I knew that we didn't have that program in this area. And so we started in August. We moved here July 2020, and which was very interesting with COVID, especially coming from Asia. But I knew that we didn't have a program for military spouses like that in Brevard County. And it had always been difficult. This was my second time here. Both times it was actually challenging to find employment. And so I knew that we needed to there was something we could do to help other military spouses have a better experience. And it was just through education. And so that's where we started initially, a military spouse professional network. And that's peer-to-peer networking for military spouses. And from there, you start to build out the businesses and those community partners. So you have the constituents that need the services, and now you have the business. So you have the supply and demand. And then now you have this beautiful working group that's able to support each other. And right now, employers need talent, and we have plenty of it through the military spouse group.
So, Angela, what in essence is the reason, or what's the problem that the spouses find as deterrents to getting employment? Could you, maybe the audience doesn't really understand, well, why can't they, get a job? Mm-hmm. What's holding those people back, and what can be done about that?
Yeah, I think so much of it is just, some of it's our lifestyle, picking up and moving. It can be a challenge you get into a position and you might move up. And if you're lucky, you do get to move up, and then you have to start over again. And it typically takes military spouses 6 to 8 months to find employment to begin with. And so, if you equate that in with the additional time where you're starting over, you really just have trouble building up your career, which, just like anybody, if you want to have a career and that's where you find your purpose, then you want to give that person an opportunity to fulfill that purpose and that drive. So
for example, you were overseas for 2 years and then you came back. So, is that 2-year window pretty typical? Is that shorter than usual for a deployment to one area? Is that longer than usual? Does it just, there's no set amount of time? How does that usually work?
It really depends on the career field that the active duty service member is in. And that's something that people don't really separate. We are very supportive of hiring veterans, but you forget about the military spouse that is giving up their career every time. We got to give them a chance. So the time can be different. The last time we were in Brevard County, we were here for 4.5 years. And so you felt very normal at that point. You started to make a lot of good friends, got involved with the Rotary and just become part of the community. And other times we've been places for 3 years. Sometimes people are in places for 8 years. And so it's, it really is just dependent on what career field and where the need is for that active duty service member.
I understand that. That makes a lot of sense, because if you're somewhere and then you have to leave and you really have to start anew, it's really, hard. I would think that would be very difficult.
It's, more difficult as your spouse goes further into their career. And so what we end up seeing is people start, especially at that 10-year mark, people start to make a choice. Is it their spouse going to stay in the military, or are you going to get out so you can also have a career? And so people don't notice it, but it's actually impacting military retention by not supporting military spouse employment.
Oh, interesting.
Never thought of it that way.
What is the need in the military community? What would you say?
Looking at military spouses, we very much know what the need is. You're looking at veteran unemployment. 10 years ago, it was, skyrocket, high number unemployment. Now it's at 3.9% because of all the great things that we've put in place for veterans. And the military spouse unemployment rate on the lowest end that I've seen, it's 24%, which is what we saw at the Great Depression. And so those numbers are, you think about the year being in 2022, that we're seeing any population that has an unemployment rate of 24%. And I'm saying on the low end, I think that's, we have work to do. And people want to do the work. It's just a matter of educating the community and them knowing that the problem exists and how to go about fixing that problem.
I understand. Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break and we will be back with Angela Neal.
Who's got time to clean? When you need it clean, call Germ Wizards LLC. Using the most up-to-date equipment, Germ Wizards pays strict attention to detail. They make dust disappear. Whether you need your office to sparkle, your home to shine, or you want to give someone a great gift, hire the Germ Wizards. It's easy to get a quote online. There's even an online portal to discuss details directly with your cleaning professional. Visit GermWizardsLLC.com. Make dust disappear with Germ Wizards.
Vision Eye Center invites you to visit Dr. Paul Minotti, Dr. David O'Brien, Dr. Stephen Tate, and Dr. Robert Reinauer for customized cataract surgery, laser vision correction, state-of-the-art glaucoma treatment and surgery, retina care, and eyelid surgery, plus general ophthalmology. New Vision Eye Center provides world-class eye care in a patient-friendly environment. 772-257-8700 or visit newvisioneyecenter.com.
Why hire Cantwell & Goldman? At Cantwell & Goldman, PA, we take pride in what we do. That pride translates into better client service and better client results. At Cantwell & Goldman, PA, we provide high-quality legal solutions for individuals and businesses in Indian River and Brevard counties and throughout the state of Florida. Our experienced attorneys can help you with a range of legal issues, from defending a criminal charge, assistance with a commercial or residential closing, business transaction, or estate planning and probate matters. We are a full-service law firm specializing in estate planning, including trust and estates, as well as commercial and residential real estate and corporate matters throughout the state of Florida. Cantwell & Goldman, PA.
It's time to call Easy Brew Coffee and Bottled Water Service and learn just how much you can save and how convenient it is to have your coffee and bottled water delivered right to your home or office. In addition to water coolers, Easy Brew offers individual bottles of water in 8 or 16-ounce bottles. No more lugging it home or dragging it into the office. Serving the Treasure Coast for over 2 decades, 2 letters, 1 simple name. Easy for Easy Brew. Visit e-zbrew.com or call 800-792-3285. Easy Brew.
Experience the flavor of Old Florida at Marsh Landing Restaurant. Savor huge portions of Florida specialties like catfish and gator tail, fried green tomatoes, saucy ribs, and homemade desserts. Marsh Landing Restaurant on Broadway Street in Fellsmere.
It's heavy on your mind. Does buying a home now make the most sense? Let's talk about it. I'm Chris Nolan from the Nolan Group of RE/MAX Associated Realty. I'll consult you for free and formulate a roadmap to home ownership. No commitment necessary. Visit nolanshow.com.
Need an enlightening pick-me-up? Visit Kristen and Cindy at Skinergy, 599 Sherwood Avenue, Unit 110 in Satellite Beach, to energize your skin and keep it looking fabulous forever. Kristen can help with hair removal sugaring to keep your whole body smooth and conditioned. Kristen will help you refresh and defend your skin while giving you a customized facial. Cindy helps Skinergize and get you camera ready for your everyday look or occasions event. Visit Kristen and Cindy at Skinergy at 599 Sherwood Avenue, Unit 110 in Satellite Beach.
And we're back with Angela Neal. Hiring Our Heroes. And I believe there were a couple of questions that you had, Mitch.
Sure. We were talking at the break about some success stories, not naming names, of course.
Right.
But, some feel-good success stories of people that you have been able to help. I'm sure there are a lot of them. Could you share some of those with us?
Yeah, so when we were talking about it, I was like, oh gosh, what will I talk about? And I think, to come up with a specific one, it could be more challenging, but we have a program that is our Military Spouse Fellowship program. And I'd say that program and the impact that it has on military spouses has been a success story as a whole. And I'll tell you some specifics, but essentially, that's a 6-week fellowship where military spouses are paired with a business, and there's no cost to the business, no cost to the military spouse, and it's to get their foot in the door. And so we have one for Salesforce, if you've ever heard of that, the customer relationship management tool. And what they do is they get their certification at no cost, and then they get to do this fellowship. And the military spouses are going in these roles, and the average salary is $87,000, and it's a remote work opportunity in a lot of cases. And so it's something that's portable for them. And so we're seeing it's just really opened up the doors for them to be able to get back in the workforce. Then sometimes people may be changing career paths because the career that they once had isn't available at their new location, or they might be in the Mojave Desert or 29 Palms in California where there's nothing, but they're able to have these employment opportunities that they can take with them and start to grow with the company and have some tenure with it.
Because of the remote employment opportunities, I guess that's maybe one benefit of probably the only thing I can think of with COVID, but it has changed employment and remote opportunities, I guess, really are a benefit if people are, in the position where they're moving around a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're really, we're not taking that for granted that more companies have moved remotely, and we're actually putting together a toolkit to make sure that military spouses are the best remote workforce. That way we're the people seek out. They're the diamond in the rough when you are looking for remote work employees.
For sure. That's true. How can an employer incorporate military hiring in their company?
I think the first step that an employer could do, we have a program called Discover the Talent, and it's a easy first step. There's an education component too. So if you have to gain buy-in at your workplace on why incorporate, people think, oh, military spouse, what's different from the regular civilian population? And there's a lot different. Their resumes may look different. They may have career gaps. They may have transferable skills. And so when you put that resume in a pile with all these other civilian resumes where they have that longevity and continuity of employment, they don't even make it past the first step. And so we have to have a mechanism to bridge that gap and have conversations and really get to hear the experience and the talent that they're bringing to the table. And so that's what this program, Discover the Talent, lets employers do. They are able to identify as a military spouse-friendly employer, and they earn a badge that they can put on their website. And normally a military spouse would hide that, so you would have no idea that they are a military spouse. You could probably worked with tons of them and just never known. But if they are able to identify, now you can start to serve that population. And so that's what Discover the Talent initially does. You also have the education component. We paired with Psych Armor and put together a few, video pieces that you can talk to different levels of leadership within your company to implement it. But in addition, you can identify any Hiring Our Heroes programs you would like to participate in. So we have career summits, we have fellowship programs. If you would like to be a mentor, we have a 2-day career intensive workshop where on the second day, people are paired with a mentor. So you can talk to them for an hour, help them plan their career. And then there's also hiring fairs. You could be part of the MC's working group, my program, which I would love for anybody to join, and also speak at our military spouse professional network events. But the reason that's a nice mechanism to get involved is we recognize companies and people don't work in silos. So you're not looking to only hire military spouses or only veterans, and you can connect with all programs through that one piece through Discover the Talent.
Okay. What is your role
My role is, well, it's a nonprofit, so wear many hats. But
Sure.
my primary role is I manage a program bringing together businesses, nonprofits, government organizations, and we reduce military spouse and underemployment. We reduce the noise in the space. There are so many organizations that are out there doing great work, and it's information overload for military spouses to the point where you don't even know where to start and what's a good resource. And so we bring them together to leverage those resources and connect them to those constituents and those military spouses that I was talking about. And so by doing that, we're hiring military spouses, we're training other employers on best practices. So we have huge companies like USAA and Booz Allen Hamilton that are doing fantastic work in that space, that are able to talk to smaller mom and pop shops on how they can also incorporate those best practices at their level. And there's no cost to do that. And so we do that in training. And then we also had advocacy. And so Mitch, you had talked about licensure reciprocity, and with the lawyers, we see it with teachers and medical professions, hair stylists. And so we fight for those types of things, work opportunity tax credits.
Yeah, the problem, what Angela was talking about, is if you're licensed as a doctor or a lawyer or any, any
Right.
service that you provide that you need to be licensed, if you're licensed in another state and you're not licensed in Florida, you can't do it.
Right.
So that's a problem. And, if they're only going to be here maybe for a year or two, you can't really get that license again and take the time. So there's that's a problem. Who would have thought of that?
Right.
They can't do what they were trained to do.
Right.
That's a shame.
And it drives people out of the career field too if they can't gain employment in it. And so, but Florida has they've got a pretty good licensure reciprocity law, and I think there's some things on the book right now for this session to make it even more expansive. So it's exciting to see, and I know Florida as a whole wants to be the most military-friendly state.
Great. Excellent. How can we get involved?
So you can get involved. You can visit our website. It's discover that if you go to hiringourheroes.org, or you can go to, if you Google Hiring Our Heroes, Discover the Talent, you could register for that program. You can also register for any of our hiring events. They're free to participate in. If you go Google Hiring Our Heroes and then events, just register online. So I think that we can put probably my contact information. So reach out to me directly. I don't mind if my email gets flooded with great people wanting to help out.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what I'm here for.
Okay. You want to give your email? Is that okay?
Oh, sure. It's Neal, Neal, @uschamber.com.
Okay. Hiring our heroes. It's important. It's something that we should all be involved in. And thank you so much, Angela. I feel that we have learned a lot, and employers need to open up and understand that there's some great people out there. And when you do see someone possibly only stayed at a job for a year or two, you should really dive more into it and find out why. But with your organization, I think you're doing wonderful things. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thanks,
having me.
Angela.
Thank you, Jesse.